What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. So, Michigan State football returns to Spartan Stadium to play Penn State in the battle for the Land-Grant Trophy on Saturday, 3:30 on CBS. Now, both of these teams not having the season that either team expected. Obviously, both had different kind of expectations going into this year. Michigan State, expected to at least make a bowl game, push for 7, maybe 8 wins, and definitely see a lot of improvement here in year 2 under Jonathan Smith. Penn State went into the year a top 5 rated team in the country and one of the favorites, if not the favorite, to win the national championship. And both teams on a 6-game losing streak. We know the story for Michigan State. We've talked about it here on the channel, but when you look at Penn State, obviously losing a handful of close games in a row, firing James Franklin. Now their quarterback, Drew Aller, out for the season with a season-ending injury. So things have not been going well in State College either. Both teams coming here looking to save bowl eligibility. Obviously, both teams at 6 losses, and one more loss will kick them out of bowl game possibility eligibility. Both these teams obviously need to win out to get to a bowl game. Quite a bit of stuff on the stakes, or on the line, should I say, here Saturday at Spartan Stadium, including the most beautiful trophy, rivalry trophy in all of college sports, the Land-Grant Trophy, of course. That is, but before you jump into this matchup, if you could, just hit that like and subscribe button down there. We'll have more Michigan State football content on the channel, so just make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a video. So we'll just start out at the top here with Michigan State, and just because it's kind of top of mind for everyone as we get to this game, not making a separate video on it because who really cares? But Michigan State hit with a 3-year probation, 14 wins vacated for, essentially from what it sounds like, buying plane tickets and hotel rooms for recruits and maybe paying for a recruit's vacation for their family. I don't know. I mean, Mel Tucker, I've said it for, the last year or so, every other scandal or thing that comes out from this era of Michigan State football that, we just turned the page on from, less than, or 2 years ago, should I say, just a gift that keeps on giving. And, just another gift for this Spartan football program. So, technically, now Jonathan Smith and this coaching staff, and feel bad for these players, but they technically don't have a Big Ten win. They technically don't have any wins now in their tenure here at Michigan State. There's that. Like I said, I'm not getting into the semantics and all the details of everything. You can, I'm sure some of the other channels, out there, Michigan State channels, have talked about it. I frankly don't have the energy or care to go through all this stuff. I'm so sick of talking about that man and everything that he's helped do to put Michigan State in the position they are as a program. But the sanctions, wish the university athletic department administrators as a whole would show a little spine and fight a little back. But I guess what are you going to do? You self-report the wrongdoings or, whatever you do, and you still get hit with this. It's nowhere near as, blatant as, on-field cheating and, other stuff that school down the road had who didn't have any wins vacated, national title vacated, anything like that. But that's just the NCAA for you. Do I really care about this? No. The program's already at the lowest of lows that it's been at in my lifetime. So I didn't think you can get any lower, but I guess we just have. So I'm interested to see what Jay Batt's really made of, what Kevin Guskiewicz is really made of, and getting this football program out from where it's at, whether it's with Jonathan Smith. And the more this thing kind of goes on, kind of going on a tangent here a little bit at the beginning of this episode, but the more this thing goes on, the more I think that Jonathan Smith possibly gets a second year here, and kind of similar to like Luke Fickell, like just with more money put into the roster. I know the rumors are not a lot of money to be put into the roster from interest from donors and whatnot, but I'm not opposed to that being the course of action, but just, choose a direction, go that direction, say, we're giving you one more year. We're going to put some more money in the roster, look at the defensive line, look at the secondary, look at the offensive line, see what you can do. If you don't see any improvement by middle of October next year, then, hey, you threw your name in the ring. You gave him adequate amount of time. I think 3 years is a good amount of time. And if still nothing happens, then nothing happens. But definitely went off on a tangent there for a couple minutes here at the beginning of this episode. But let's get back into this game in Penn State. So obviously, without their starting quarterback Drew Aller, without their head coach James Franklin, who is gone now, they're now led by Ethan Grunkenmeyer, 562 yards on the year, 65% completion percentage, 2 touchdown to 4 interception ratio so far on the year. The talent in the running back room, though, is undeniable. You know, Krohn-Imagn Allen, 736 yards, 5.3 yards per carry average, 10 touchdowns on the year. Nick Singleton, 363, that's 3.9 a carry, and 9 touchdowns. You have 3 wide receivers, over 245 yards on the year. Trebor Pena, Devontae Ross, and Kyron Hudson. They have 6 total touchdowns between them. Their tight ends, Luke Reynolds and Khalil Dinkins, 218 and 167 yards respectively, 2 touchdowns from Dinkins on the year. Kicking game, if it comes down to that, they're perfect on the year. Only missed 1 kick, which was over 50 yards on the year. Total, that's their only miss from anywhere. On defense, Amari Campbell, 67 tackles. Zaki Wheatley, 61. 17 team sacks, which they're led by Denai Dennis Sutton and Zayden Durant with 3. 6 interceptions. Multiple guys with 1 interception, including the big man, Zayden Durant, on the defensive line has 1 as well. But overall, they're still a talented team. You know, the running back room especially sticks out to me. Something that they're going to have to, Michigan State's going to have to do. Try to stop the run in this game, definitely. Try to make this quarterback, who obviously filling in for Drew Aller, try to make him beat you through the air on the road in this game. But that running back room, 78th in rushing offense. Penn State tied for 36th in third down conversion percentage, 54th and fourth down conversion percentage, 82nd rush defense for them. And I think that's a possibility of getting Mekhi Frazier back. It sounds like that's a possibility. Could help attacking this run defense of Penn State for Michigan State. We saw them pop a couple the last game at home a couple weeks ago against that school down the road. Saw them pop a couple against Minnesota. So can they possibly get that going like they did the beginning of the year? They're 15th in passing yards allowed, so definitely going to be a challenge through the air. 6th in fewest penalties as well. So again, like Minnesota, they're not going to hurt themselves. Now for Michigan State, obviously, it's the big question, the quarterback question. Who's going to start? Is it going to be Alessio Milojevic again, or is it going to be Aiden Childs? I personally think they probably roll with Alessio. I think they liked kind of the little bit of a spark they got in that Minnesota game, and that was definitely a game they could have won. Not saying Aiden has looked bad all year, but I think at this point they're just kind of going off of what happened last game and kind of trying to roll with that little spark that they got to try to save their bowl eligibility here season. But defense has played better, especially over the last couple of games. And really since Joe Rossi's come on the sideline, he's kind of injected a lot of energy into that group. Like to see that continue, but it's definitely going to start with stopping their 2 talented running backs in Krohn-Imagn Allen and Nick Singleton. But I'm definitely interested to see how they come out senior day in Spartan Stadium. Obviously, you know, this is the last home game. You know, we had the Ford Field game. I'm sorry, I just still can't stand that they're moving the last game of the year to Ford Field. A whole nother story there. Yeah, so this is the last time this senior class will get to play in Spartan Stadium. So interested to see how they come out. Hope they come out with some energy and, you know, can maybe get on this early. I think this is only about a 7.5 point spread for Penn State being favored in this one, which obviously on paper with how talented they are is surprising. But, you know, I think with the fight that Michigan State has showed the last couple weeks, it's not like they've gotten blown out a couple games, you know, Indiana, UCLA, and whatnot. But, you know, even in those games, it was kind of, besides the UCLA game, that was just bad all the way around. But Indiana, they were in the fight for quite a bit. You know, the game against school down the road, that was, you know, neck and neck most of the game. Minnesota, same thing, kind of. So this team hasn't given up. And this is your last chance to save bowl eligibility. Play for those seniors that'll never get to play in Spartan Stadium again. Your last chance to kind of save your bowl eligibility season here. Literally, your back is against the wall. So hope they come out with some good energy. Can keep that defensive train rolling and, you know, see what kind of spark Alessio can give you on the offensive side of the ball. Hopefully getting Mekhi Frazier back, as well as the way some of the other backs have played, can pop some runs on offense as well. That's what I think they're going to have to do in this game. But we'll close it out with our 5 picks for the weekend. Way back, we obviously didn't do picks last week. There was a bye week, didn't have a video. But went 2-3, so 26 and 23 on the season. And I don't think this season I've ever been as confident as I am as in the 5 picks that I've made for this weekend, which means I'll probably come on here next week talking about how I went 0-5 this weekend. But we'll start out with our game as we always do. Taking under 49.5, Michigan State versus Penn State. Think it's going to be a lower scoring game. Kind of similar to Minnesota. I think it'll push to that number, get close, but I don't think it'll go over. I'm taking under 49.5. Taking Pitt plus 12.5 versus Notre Dame. Still think Notre Dame wins, but think Pitt can keep it close at home. I'm taking under 48.5 Iowa at USC. Reason for this, expected to be 100% chance of rain in Southern California on Saturday at this USC game against Iowa. So I think it's going to be, and when you play Iowa, you can expect to take the under anyway. But, USC is a high-powered offense, but I think that rain, I like the under in this one. Then Alabama minus 5.5 at home against Oklahoma. And then Georgia minus 6.5 versus Texas at home. So anyway, that'll do it for this one. As I said, this is the last opportunity to save bowl eligibility for this season. And it's the last time in Spartan Stadium for the season. So looking forward to getting to campus, tailgating for the last time in Spartan Stadium this season. And yeah, hope the guys can come out with some energy. Let's keep this thing rolling. We can still get to a bowl game. We've seen some possibilities. A lot of things have to go right against a very talented Penn State team, even though their season hasn't gone the way that they expected. Just like our season hasn't gone the way we expected either. So a lot on the line here, bowl eligibility, and of course, the battle to keep the beautiful land grant trophy home here in East Lansing. Get it back after it's been in State College for a little too long. It's been there for a couple years. Want to keep the beautiful land grant trophy home here in East Lansing. So anyway, we'll be back with a recap after this one, but that'll do it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.